Hello, welcome to our first ever edition of the Overtime Arkansas. And we'll have all kinds of great things in store for you here on Overtime Arkansas. If you don't know me by now, I'm Brad Caldwell. I'm the general manager of the Arkansas Sports Network and the Arkansas High School Sports Network, along with my friend Alan Russell. He is the creator of 42 Sports, which turned into Arkansas High School Sports Network. We do appreciate every one of you that have joined us today, and we're very excited, to say the least, to bring you this program today. It's going to be a good one. I've got to work out a few kinks here. Unfortunately, there's always kinks to work out. But we do have a great lineup for you today. One of the best ones that we've got today. I think that we've got a great show for you. We've got Coach Mackenzie Pierce of the Blytheville Chickasaws. We've got Coach Spencer Gay of the Heber Springs Lady Panthers. And then our boys player of the week is none other than Jayshawn Hayes. He will be with us as well from the Whitehall Bulldogs. He'll be joining us around 6:30, somewhere in there. So anyway, I want you to do us a favor. Share this out with people. Let them know that you're watching it right here on the Arkansas Sports Network. We do appreciate it. Hey, what's up, Woj? Appreciate you joining us here on Overtime Arkansas. We've got a lot of cool stuff ahead of you. I'll tell you what, this show right here, I think you're going to love it. I do. Because we're going to bring in coaches. We're going to bring in players. We're going to bring in people that just know about your team. We're going to try to get people from every corner of the state. So make sure that you hit that share button. Let everybody know that you're watching it here on the Arkansas Sports Network. And I think that eventually we'll have some giveaways and things of that nature. Just join us here. And, man, we're excited. So we've got an interview with Coach Mackenzie Pierce coming up, like I said, from the Blytheville Chickasaws. So you definitely want to stay tuned with us there. And everything seems to be good on my end. I was looking to make sure that I hit that music, got that music down. Bill is always telling me what's up. I know that he's giving me messages. If you've got any just messages, anything you want to just put out there, let us know. We're excited to be here again on Overtime Arkansas. This is the first ever episode of Overtime Arkansas. Thank you for joining us here on Overtime Arkansas. So, that being said, without further ado, again, we've got Coach Mackenzie Pierce of the Blytheville Chickasaws. We've got Coach Spencer Gay of the Heber Springs Lady Panthers, and then we'll have Jayshawn Hayes of the Whitehall Bulldogs. They've got a huge game coming up tomorrow night. We also have an announcement about our destination for tomorrow night. To be quite honest with you, we're a little slow on getting it out there. But, man, I think we've got a fantastic night of basketball for you tomorrow night. And we'll get to that here in just a moment. But I want you to stay tuned with us. Again, Coach Mackenzie Pierce, the number one team in the state in the 4A. And really, I think you could probably say they could make an argument for at least a top 5 spot in the overall for the Blytheville Chickasaws. So we're going to go ahead and get to Coach Mackenzie Pierce of the Blytheville Chickasaws. And again, stay tuned. We got a big announcement. We've got Jayshawn Hayes, one of the top players in the state of Arkansas, regardless class. He's a class of 25, I believe. And thanks to Duran. Appreciate you for joining us. Make sure you're hitting that share button, though, and letting everybody know that you're watching right here on the Arkansas Sports Network. And we're going to go to Mackenzie Pierce. Like I said, we've got Jayshawn Hayes about 6:30. I'll get to him then. And then we've got Coach Spencer Gay and the announcement for Friday night, where myself and Duran Miller will be, along with Bill Harshaw and whoever else. Who knows? We'll be around. So anyway, stay tuned with us. But first, let's go to Coach Mackenzie Pierce of the Blytheville Chickasaws, one of the top teams in 4A. Welcome into Overtime Arkansas. Brad Caldwell here for the Arkansas Sports Network and the Arkansas High School Sports Network. And we're glad to have Coach Mackenzie Pierce on the line with us from the number 1 and 4A, the Blytheville Chickasaws. And Coach Pierce, we've heard from your fans They've let us know that the Blytheville Chickasaws are the team this year, and they've been loud and proud. And you proved it over the weekend with a victory at Pine or Poplar Bluff, I should say, in the Poplar Bluff Showdown.
Yeah, well, Chick Nation, that's what they do. They represent the maroon and white real loud and proud, like you said, and they're going to let you know how they feel one way or the other, whether you agree with it or not. So we're thankful for them, and they always support us and got our back. But yeah, no, it was a great week. We're typically in the NEA tournament. I'm actually on the board of the NEA tournament, so it was kind of a somber deal us getting out of it this year and going to Poplar Bluff, but we went for the experience. We went to make sure we got battle tested for 3 days, and that's exactly what happened. And we had a great showing starting out with Hillcrest. We got off to a blistering start, really shot the ball really well. I think we scored almost 40 points in the first quarter there and hit several threes and kind of kept it going. And then obviously Springdale was a big test for us, and I didn't think we played particularly well for 2.5 quarters, but Springdale had a lot to do with that. They were really athletic and really big, and we kind of started settling in late in the third quarter, early fourth quarter, finally started driving the ball to the basket and making some shots, and actually had it up 3 with 4 seconds to go, and kind of a crazy foul call out at half court, and their stud 10th grader was able to go sink 3 free throws to send it into overtime, and then we were fortunate to come out on top in overtime, and then played a very, very good Haywood team who got a very good point guard and a very good big kid, and were able to get a 10-point victory over them in the championship. So a great 3-day run. I was really proud of my guys, especially we had to exert so much energy. I mean, I think we were down 13 in the middle of the third quarter against Springdale. We had to exert a lot of energy to get back into that ball game, and sent it to overtime. By the time we got back to the hotel room that night, it was about 1:30 after we got some food and checking out at 11, and then didn't play till 7 o'clock the next night.
Oh, goodness.
So I was really proud of the guys and their resiliency, and it was a total group effort over the week, but really proud of my guys coming out on top.
Yeah, they've been great this year. I mean, you guys are undefeated so far this year. Kind of looking here at your non-conference schedule, you've played some really, really good teams. You've come out on top. Let's talk a little bit about your non-conference schedule, who you've played so far, where you've played them at.
Right. Well, it's been a whirlwind, and if you would have told me before the season started that we'd be undefeated at this point, I'm not sure that I would have believed you. Of course, we felt confident that we would have a chance to win every ball game we were in. I mean, we put the work, we put the hours in. Obviously, we were in the state finals last year, and we got essentially all but 2 guys back, and a all-state point guard transferred in Keyshawn Washington. We knew how talented we were. We knew how good we would be, but obviously this is probably the toughest schedule I've ever put together since I've been at Blytheville. Starting out, I mean, first game of the year was against West Memphis, 5A school. Was able to take care of business at home, and then we went to a big-time Thanksgiving tournament in the Tournament of Champions in Peoria. And for those of you who don't know, I mean, look it up online. It is an unbelievable event. It's an honor to get to go there. 65-plus guys in the NBA right now.
Wow.
Played in this tournament when they were in high school, over 100 throughout its history. I mean, it was just unreal. Guys like Zion Williamson, Anthony Davis, Andrew Wiggins. You walk in, they got all these NBA guys, pictures from when they played in the event hanging up. Unbelievable event. Played a St. Pius, St. Matthews Academy out of Los Angeles in the first round. They got a big-time guard named Tyrone Riley, 6'6", left-handed guard. Has been offered by essentially everybody on the West Coast, and we were able to get a double-digit victory that night, and turned around and played trying to Coral Glades, Florida, who maybe the most athletic team we've played all year. They went 6'3", 6'3", 6'7", 6'9", 6'9", and could all flat out go. One of the biggest public schools in the Miami area, and actually got down 14-2 against them, and were able to claw back and win that one. We played Urbana, kind of a local Chicago team, and then in the finals played St. Paul, also kind of from the North Los Angeles area, and were able to take those guys down. They were very good. Had a really good guard. Scored 30 points on us. They had 4 guys that were 6'8" or up on the squad, and were able to handle business there as well. And then came back, had the Chickasaw Classic in Blytheville. Played a very good Springdale Harbor team, very good North Little Rock team who was coming off Rumble on the Ridge championship over Jonesboro, and I believe they were undefeated at the time. We're able to take care of them at home, a 3-point victory at home there. Then obviously got into conference play, and then finished up there in the showdown in Poplar Bluff.
Now you got Forest City in conference. I see that you guys have beaten Brooklyn, Jonesboro West Side. I mean, you guys are already in the conference play quite a bit. 5-0 in conference is what I'm seeing. Man, you guys. I mean, as I'm asking this question, I'm not going to lie to you. I said, well, you've got a great non-conference schedule. No, you have a fantastic non-conference schedule. I don't know that there's really been very many in the state's history that have been played like this one. As you go through, and you're talking about teams from Los Angeles and Chicago area and different places like that. And I'm a ball junkie. I've never heard of this tournament in Peoria, so that's a really, really big time feather in your cap here, and you are 16-0 on the season. You just beat Haywood, and I believe they were number 2 in 3A in Tennessee. So I mean, you just continue to chalk up victories here. You got conference play coming up. But let's talk a little bit about your kids, and let's talk a little bit about, obviously, let's start with Rashad Marshall here. He's a guy that has he signed with Ole Miss, or he just committed to him right now?
Yeah, he signed with Ole Miss the first early signing period, and obviously he's a monster. I mean, I think they've got him as a 4-star, round number 50, 55 player in the country, but that's underranked. He is no doubt a 5-star kid. You would be hard pressed to find 20 players in the class of 23 better than this cat. And some of that, some people know his story, and we've talked about that at length in the past. But obviously, he just, until this past summer, really wasn't able to get out on the circuit due to family circumstances, and obviously didn't play his 10th grade year either. So I mean, Ole Miss is really getting a blue chip. He's an unbelievable kid. He's got a heart of gold. He's an unselfish teammate. I mean, can do it all. Scoring 20-plus points, 12 rebounds a game, shooting over 70% from the field for the second year in a row. Championship game, big fella goes up there, goes 12 for 12 from the free throw line. He can knock down shots. Just an unbelievable player. And obviously, it starts with him. But our whole starting five. Every guy in our starting five has scored 20 points at least twice this season.
Wow.
So that really speaks, volumes to really that group, and they play so well and feed off each other so well. Our point guard, Keyshawn Washington, is 5'7", but he plays like he's 6'7", and he is an absolute blur. He's had, I believe, 4 double-doubles on the year with points and assists. And he's really a throwback point guard who really is pass first. But the beauty of Keyshawn is some of his best scoring outputs came at times where we really weren't playing particularly well. And he said, okay, things are off. The assist ain't going, so I'm gonna kind of turn it up and make some big shots. And he really put on a show. Earning all tournament honors down at Poplar Bluff, and he is electric to watch. And then you got Shamar Marshall, who is a senior, second-year starter for us, who shot the ball really well for us, averaging about 13 points per game for us. Can really defend. He took on a big challenge in the championship and guarded an unbelievable player from Haywood, and really did a great job minimizing him. We sent no help. We left him one-on-one on an island all night, and I think the kid only scored 13 points, and he was averaging on the tournament, I think, about 24 points going into it. Just a really good kid that can do whatever's asked of him. Jeremiah Wells is the other kid that starts, another shooter for us. Those two guys kind of lead us in three-point shooting. Jeremiah is a junior. He's the one junior that starts. Everybody else is a senior. Jeremiah and Shamar are both about 6'2", really athletic, but Jeremiah's a kid that played a lot of minutes as a 10th grader last year for us, played 13 minutes in the state championship game for us as a 10th grader, has really matured, has really gotten a lot better. He's a really, really good athlete. Like I said, can really shoot the ball. His ball handling, passing, defense has really came a long way since last year. And so those two guys, along with Keyshawn, have really helped stretch the floor for us and, kind of open up the paint some for Rashad. And then TJ Jackson, 6'6", freak athlete, kind of plays the 3-4 for us. And TJ I've been at Blytheville for 7 years, and I can count on one hand how many 3-year starters I've had, and he's one of them. And he's an unbelievable kid, again, like Shamar. Those two guys are kind of our guys that we like to stick on the other team's best players night in and night out. And he does a tremendous job. He plays with tremendous energy, averaging about 13 and 8 rebounds for us on the year. Just an unbelievable kid, winner. Like last year in the state championship game, I believe he pulled down like 15, 16 rebounds, and he's just a guy that'll do whatever it takes to get it done. And then Makai Handy and Travis Anderson have been the first two guys off the bench for us. Makai, again, is a kid that is a senior that's been in the rotation since a 10th grader, can kind of come in and handle the ball for us and really turn it up a notch on defense. And then Travis is similar to TJ as far as he can kind of play, the 3 through the 5, can knock down shots, can guard different positions. And those have kind of been our first two guys off the bench.
Well, obviously, they can play ball if they're playing for you right now. And I tell you what, just again, I don't know a lot about you, but I'm looking and I'm kind of keeping up now, and I'm just impressed. I'm looking at your schedule here; it's just been amazing. Tell us a little bit about your conference and what you got. Like I said, you're already 5-0 in the conference, but I know that you guys play in a tough area for basketball in the state of Arkansas. I mean, it's hard to argue that the Northeast area is not the best area, and I'm talking about all classifications.
Right.
It's not the best area in the state of Arkansas for hoops. So tell us a little bit about your conference and what you got coming up for that.
Right. Well, obviously, yeah, we pride ourselves over here in Northeast Arkansas in basketball. We talk about how it's probably the one, as far as just as a totality of the area, basketball is definitely number one in this area. It's important whether you're a 1A school or a 6A school. I mean, you show up on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday nights for boys or girls basketball. You're going into a packed gym with crazy fans who are, whose night is either going to be made or ruined by the outcome of a high school basketball game. And it's a really unique place for those who aren't familiar with it, because it just really is a special place to coach and play basketball. But obviously we're in a very good league. Brooklyn has always been kind of our, biggest competitor in the league. We've had some turnover. We have won our league 4 straight years. We have not lost the regular season conference game in 2.5 years. So we hope to keep that rolling. But obviously, that's going to be tough as we, are still finishing up the first round of conference play and then head into the second wave. But Brooklyn is a really good team. They've got a lot of guys back like us from a year ago. They've got great guard play. They've got a lot of size. They've got a big kid down low, 6'8", that can really play, and a guard, and Tyler Parham, who's been a 3-year starter. He's just a junior, been starting since the 9th grader, and Cole Kirby, who can really shoot the basketball. And then Forest City, again, another Northeast Arkansas kind of tradition-rich program who made it to the quarterfinals a year ago, and they're always a tough out, really scrappy, really well coached. And then you've got Truman, Wynn, Batesville Southside, who always does a really good job. Like I said, it's a really tough league. Highland, West Side. So again, we've always got our hands full. We're going to get everybody's best shot night in and night out, but it's a really fun league to coach in. Coaches are tremendous, and you got to be on your A game every night.
And looking, as we were talking earlier before this all started, before I got you on, we talked a little bit about just how deep the 4A basketball is in general. and there are some really good teams around the state. What do you know a little bit about teams that are kind of around the state and who you got to watch out for?
Well, obviously, we stick with the old cliche of kind of one day at a time and focusing in on, what's next. But obviously, we're familiar with the landscape. Obviously, it feels just like yesterday we lost in the state championship by 3 to Magnolia. But obviously, we know that, Farmington and Little Rock Christian, who we just got to watch up close for 3 days, over in Poplar Bluff, as they were on the other side of the bracket. Farmington, we played last year down in Magnolia in the quarters, and we're able to come out victorious against them. But Lane Taylor is an unbelievable kid, and his dad is an unbelievable coach. We got to see them at our classic, not this year, but last. No, they're going to be a tough out. And, the team that nobody talks about or that I feel like has not been talked about enough for whatever reason is Little Rock Mills. They really only lost 2 kids from that team last year. I know a lot of their kids played football. Coach Cooper, I have as much respect for him as any coach in the state. I think he's as good as it gets. They're going to be a extremely tough out come postseason play. Like I said, I think they're maybe off to a little bit of a slow start because of all their guys that were in football. And traditionally, he does a really good job of early in the year playing 10, 11, 12 guys, trying to kind of figure out his rotation. But I firmly believe they'll be in the mix when it gets down to the nitty gritty. And so, from there, obviously, it's like I said, Brooklyn and Forest City and our league will always be tough outs. And shout out to my guy Judson Smith, who's an assistant coach for me a couple years ago over here at Blytheville's taking over at Clinton. He's got a really strong bunch over there at Clinton, doing a really good job with them. And Berryville is always tough. So, like you said, it's a deep field. At the end of the day, you know how it is. It's about who's playing well come postseason time, who can get hot, whether you're undefeated or 500. Obviously, when you get into these district tournaments, regional tournaments, all this stuff we're doing right now is really irrelevant.
Yeah. Well, man, you have covered a lot here. I do appreciate everything that you've given us. And again, we didn't know a lot about Blytheville. And I say I'm talking about me in general. We've got guys all over the state of Arkansas that probably were a little bit more familiar than I am. But man,
it's a tough spot. We're a tough spot because we're media wise, we're closer, to the Boot Hill area of Missouri, really than any really major market in Arkansas, really, because we're an hour away from Jonesboro, 3 hours away from Little Rock, and so it's. So, like I said, don't take our fans and all that personal, because right. we feel like we get slighted sometimes, but we're kind of hitting it. We're really going on a 7-year run of really, really great success. I took over 7 years ago. We were a 5A school then, and we lost in the first round of state then, and we've been in at least to the second round of the state tournament every year since then. And so basketball is really, really, really important here, and we've been doing it at a high level for a while now, and so when people forget about us, Chick Nation is going to let you know about it, because they're there every night supporting us in full force.
That's what we need, though. To be honest with you, we need that. We need to say, hey, let us know. Hey, we got Blytheville over here. They're pretty good, and because of that, we were able to kind of see what you did this weekend and saw that you guys definitely deserve that number 1 ranking right now. I know you're going to say, hold on just a second. I get you. But in our eyes right now, with the schedule that you've played, you're going to go up there to that number 1 ranking.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that, because obviously we talked about Little Rock Christian was in Poplar Bluff last week, and Kyle Pennington's also a buddy of mine. And at the banquet of the tournament, he was like, "Yeah, I don't know how y'all ain't ranked number 1." And I told him, I said, "Well, hell, I hope we're not ranked number 1 until the very end. I hope they leave us at 2 or 3 all year long." So but hey, like I said, we appreciate you covering us and bumping us up. But like I said, all this stuff at the end of the day is great, but it's all about who's playing, who's healthy at the end of the year. And but I'm confident that my guys will be ready when that time comes.
Well, as I've said before, these rankings will shake themselves out. They'll figure it out, and that's these tournaments. And I'll tell you what, a lot of people don't know about Christmas time in high school basketball, but it really outside of the state tournament, it's one of the best times in the state for high school hoops because there's just so many tournaments out there that you can go out and you can see some of the best teams play against some of the best in Arkansas, but also some of the best out of state.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. And that's why this year we elected to not play in the NEA tournament, kind of for what you just said, boys, because a lot of the teams in the NEA tournament it's gotten to become some smaller schools in Northeast Arkansas. Nettleton wasn't in it this year. Obviously, Jonesboro hasn't been in it for a couple of years. And so it was a lot of teams in our conference and a lot of smaller schools. And we just felt like with this group, obviously, when I put the schedule together, I was trying to be battle tested as much as possible and play as much stiff competition as possible. And so that's what we elected to go to Poplar Bluff. And it was high level hoops going on over there. And like I said, we were very fortunate to come out on top against Springdale. Probably if we play that game exactly how it was played 10 times, we probably don't win that game based on how we perform. But I'd like to think if we played them 10 times, we would have come out and play a lot differently than we did for 2.5 quarters. But we were fortunate. But that's the trait of a good team. You find ways to win when you don't play your best, and we were able to do that night and get to the championship game. And we played much better against a very good Haywood team. And so we feel good about how we ended 2022 and get ready to start 2023.
Well, Coach Pierce, I really appreciate you joining me here on Overtime Arkansas, the first ever edition of Overtime Arkansas. We're going to continue to do this throughout the year, see how it goes. But, man, we do appreciate you joining us, letting us know about Blytheville and the Chickasaws, and we'll be kind of watching you to see what happens throughout the rest of the year.
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate it, Brad. And, again, thank you for reaching out, and look forward to hearing from you again.
All right. That's Coach Mackenzie Pierce of the Blytheville Chickasaws, and we'll be back here on Overtime Arkansas in just a moment. I'm back. Hello. Well, Coach Pierce gave us a lot of good information about his team and the top team in the 4A right now, the Blytheville Chickasaws, undefeated, playing one of the best schedules that you will see in the state of Arkansas. And, man, they're a team to watch. We're going to try to get them on our airwaves here pretty quick. We're going to go to a special announcement here real quick, but let me go to a quick break. I want to get Jay Sean Hayes on the line with us. We want to thank D3 Auto Sales for being a part of what we're doing here. They're a huge sponsor here on the Arkansas High School Sports Network. Please hit that share button. Let everybody know that you're watching Overtime Arkansas. We'll be back here in just a moment.
Back to school, yard work, football practice. Don't forget to pay these bills. The schedule is so full, there's no time for a hiccup. Time is of the essence. At D3 Auto, we make the car buying process fast and easy. D3Autosales.com. Follow us on Facebook.
There comes a time in all of our lives when we need the help of legal services. Well, let Leah Jacobs at Heirloom Legal at 425 North Church Street in Atkins be your go-to when you are needing assistance. If you're needing a will or a trust, maybe you're helping an elder parent with Medicaid issues, or planning on opening a brand new business, maybe you have another legal need. Jacobs can help you plan your next step. That's Heirloom Legal, helping families build and protect their legacy through estate, elder, and business planning. Call 501-819-2553, and walk-ins are welcome.
Let's go, Dr. K, let's go. Braces are Invisalign, let's go. Let's go, Dr. K, let's go. Trust her as your ortho, let's go. Let's go, Dr. K, let's go.
Welcome into Overtime Arkansas. Brad Caldwell here for the Arkansas Sports Network.
Yeah, you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry, we're back here on the Arkansas Sports Network, Arkansas High School Sports Network. Appreciate you joining us here on Overtime Arkansas. And we've got a sophomore, big sophomore sensation, Ja'Shawn Hayes. Hey, man, I'll tell you, you might know a guy that we know that's part of our crew here. But before we get to that, let me make an announcement real quick. Before I get too far ahead of myself. The Arkansas Sports Network will be tomorrow night at Bigelow for the Bigelow England ball games, both boys and girls. Make sure that you are a part of that and watch us tomorrow night. 2 big-time ball games in the 2A. It's going to be a great time over there at Bigelow. So make sure you join us here on the Arkansas Sports Network and High School Hoops here on ASN. So, Ja'Shawn, we got, like I said, you know a guy that I know, Adam Johnston. You know a guy named Adam Johnston?
Oh, yes, sir. Coach Johnston. Yes, sir.
Yes, Coach Johnston. He's with us here on the Arkansas Sports Network, helps us out quite a bit. He's the one that's been telling us a little bit about you and about just your season and your game. He's been telling us a little bit about you even before this season started. So let's hear a little bit about what's been going on with you at Whitehall and give us a little bit of info about your game.
So, basically coming from a devastating season last season, going 8-18, this summer was solely purposed on focusing on what I needed to do to become a better leader and help our team get more wins. But it was also a collective effort with our team too. So this summer, we got in a lot of work, with my dad, our coach, and our assistant coaches, and we doubled down on our work this year, and it's been showing drastically in games. I'll say I've been having a pretty good season so far, but honestly, I couldn't do anything without my teammates. In the past few games, they showed they can step up because they're players too, and really our whole team is capable of going great places. So, honestly, it's really just the hard work showing for us and us being confident in our abilities.
So you guys should be a little bit confident. You're number 3 in our Arkansas High School Sports Network rankings.
Yes, sir.
You guys are playing the number 1 team tomorrow night, Pine Bluff.
Yes, sir.
At your home place, correct?
Yep. Yes, sir. At home.
So that's got to be some kind of rivalry there, being just a few minutes apart. Tell us a little bit about just kind of how the Pine Bluff rivalry works with Whitehall.
Yeah, so, in the past, it's always been, Pine Bluff has been the predominant school in the Jefferson County area. And, last year we put up a fight a little bit, but, they still got us. So solely our focus is to, get the people what they want and show the people that this is a new Whitehall era, giving them basically giving the haters what they don't want to see, because everybody wants to see us lose now that we've become a way better team. And really, people are scared of us. They fear us. So we just want to come out, compete and get the win and have all the buzz that we can possibly have.
Well, you guys are creating some buzz. You're creating some buzz yourself.
Yes, sir.
Now, are you a point guard at 6'7"?
Yes, sir.
So tell us a little bit about playing point guard at that height.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a true blessing, being able to be bigger than guys, shoot over guys, but also make better reads. I've always, been the type of player to make good plays, but I've never just been a point guard. So once I became a point guard, my dad put me at the position, it was sort of easier to get everything flowing because, I've always been a good IQ player, taller than everybody. And then I feel like I'm real good at setting the tempo and keeping just keeping a good pace. So, and then I feel like I'm a good leader to my teammates. So I really accepted that role. And it's really, just got to keep working. But I feel like I'm a pretty good point guard for my age right now.
So you're a sophomore, correct?
Yes, sir.
Class of 25.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about recruiting. Tell us who's recruiting you right now.
Yeah, so I got offers from UAPB and Ole Miss. Arkansas been in and out on the recruiting. Vanderbilt recently reached out, and Alabama State in the past. But it's been a little slow, but that's not really what I'm worried about. But it's great to just even be looked at this age. So it's a blessing, and I'm glad that coaches are actually giving me a chance. Talking to me a little bit, just to be in their scouting report is an honor.
Well, you definitely are on a lot of people's radars. I mean, you are on my radar. I can tell you.
Yes, sir.
You have definitely gotten me to take notice. Coach Johnston was telling me quite a bit about you earlier, and
Yes, sir.
you hear things about how good this kid is and that kid. And there's a lot of good players in the state of
Yes, sir.
Arkansas, but boy, you have really gotten out there and really gotten people's attention as a sophomore, and really right now one of the better players in the state of Arkansas.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that.
So tell us just a little bit about what you think for the rest of the season and try to get your team into that state tournament.
Yeah, so the rest of the season, we got a lot of momentum built up coming from that Bend win, and since we're 3-0 in conference, our main goal is to get a championship, of course, but we got to take it one game at a time. So just beating these next few teams in our conference and just staying together as a team, becoming closer, so we can be there for our brother and know that. Just confidence is a big thing for our team, because Whitehall has never just been a basketball predominant school. So now that we're trying to change the culture, our confidence is a big booster, and especially us winning these games is adding our confidence up. But of course, we want to do everything we can to do to win, and get to state is our main focus besides getting that championship. So that's all we've been doing.
You guys are in a tough conference. I mean, you guys got Pine Bluff, you've got Lake Hamilton. Those are two that come to my mind there. You got Benton as well.
Yes, sir.
Another tough team. You guys beat Benton earlier this week.
Yes,
What
sir.
was I know your dad's the coach there, Coach Hayes. What was he
Yep.
telling you a little bit about this week coming up, knowing that you had Benton coming into the gym, knowing that
Yeah.
you had Pine Bluff coming into the gym?
Yeah, so this week is a week we've been focused on for a long time, because with the Bend, it's just a lot of animosity between me and Terry on Burgess. So just winning that game was our main focus, but we didn't want to look past them and think about the Pine Bluff game before then. So then once we won that, now we can focus on Pine Bluff, which is the rival, which we feel like might be our most anticipated game of the year. So, we really been preparing for this moment months ahead. So now that it's finally here, it's really exciting. And going up this following week, it's just been about us really having fun and enjoying the moment, because, you can never get this back. So that's really it.
Well, enjoy the moment for sure. Just looking at your schedule here, you guys still got some tough games on the schedule. You've got Lake Hamilton twice. You got Hot Springs. You've got some teams there. Pine Bluff, they're playing very well. Man, we're going to be watching you Friday night, watching your team, watching Pine Bluff. Keeping our eye on that one, because it's going to be a good one down there in Pine Bluff. So I appreciate you joining us here on Overtime Arkansas.
Man, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for the opportunity.
All right. That's Jay Sean Hayes of the Whitehall Bulldogs here, as he tells us a little bit about what's going on in his season. Appreciate Jay Sean joining us here on Overtime Arkansas. Appreciate his dad has been in touch with us. We're going to keep our eye on him. He's a D3 Auto Sales Player of the Week, our boys Player of the Week. D3 Auto Sales has been fantastic to us. And if you didn't know, we're going to tell you now, the MVP is carrying over to basketball. We will be doing a boys and a girls MVP in the state for the boys and the girls. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to be great. We're looking forward to getting those nominations out there. If you are a D3 Auto Sales Player of the Week, you are automatically a nominee. And then we'll get other nominees out there as we go. We got plenty of weeks of basketball to get several nominees out there. There's going to be so many out there. And we'll have a vote and everything. And if you don't know this by now, one of the big things that we do is we televise state tournaments. Um, Pretty fair. I'm fairly confident we'll be doing that again here pretty soon. Don't know which one. If it'll be 5A, 4A, 3A. Don't know 2A maybe. Whatever it is, we're going to be there. So make sure that that you get a chance to join us here as we do basketball throughout the state. We've got a lot of things that we want to do throughout this year, and we want you to help us out. So be on the lookout here as we try to become your source for high school sports, all of them throughout the state of Arkansas. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we've got Coach Spencer Gay of the Heber Springs Lady Panthers, and he's going to talk about his team and their victory in the Berryville tournament. We'll be back here in just a moment.
We see you. Your incredible potential and willpower set you apart. You're first to take that leap of faith. First to get to work. First to solve the problem. No burden should be carried alone. We'll be there. Every step, day, challenge. First is your destiny. We get it because first is who we are.
We'd love to thank Arkansas Tech University for being a great sponsor to us this year. Arkansas Army National Guard, Heirloom Legal, D3 Auto Sales. Those are the ones that have really been great to us throughout the year. So we do appreciate it. If you didn't catch it, we are going to be at Bigelow tomorrow night for the England-Bigelow ball game. Thank you for joining us ahead of time. We do appreciate it. We're excited to be there. Two great games. We're excited to be at both of them tomorrow night at Bigelow. We'll be there for a great conference matchup between England and Bigelow. All right, so let me get to Coach Spencer Gay as he talks about his team. They're also the number 3 team in 4A on the girls' side. Coach Spencer Gay took over a program there that wasn't winning. Right now they are really playing good basketball up at Heber Springs. We haven't announced it yet, but probably we will be at Heber Springs for the Heber Springs Clinton ball games coming up, not this Friday, which is tomorrow, but next Friday at Heber Springs. We're looking forward to that. So anyway, we're going to get to it right now. We've got Coach Spencer Gay of the Heber Springs Lady Panthers. Welcome back into Overtime Arkansas. I've got my good friend here. We got Spencer Gay on the line of the Heber Springs Lady Panthers. Coach, how's it going, man?
It's doing great, man. We just left practice, trying to prepare for a real special tomorrow night.
All right, so your team is a team that I don't think that a lot of people were looking toward at the beginning of the season as a team that would be up there. You know, we talked about rankings a little bit before this started, but be up there in the rankings. I know rankings are just rankings. They're just one person's opinion. But, you know, out of, you know, however many 4A basketball teams that there are, you guys are now our number 3 team in 4A after your tournament victory in Berryville. Tell us how you guys kind of have gotten to this point, because I know that when you took this program over, it wasn't a winning program at the time.
Well, they had really good pieces before I got here. You know, I can just tell you that. You know, I think coaches get a lot of credit for turning programs around, but let's just call a spade a spade. You got to have players, or else, you know, you'll never get it off the ground. And when I first saw film, I thought that that there were some things that I could do that could instantly make them 4 or 5 points better here, 3 or 4 points better here. And it took a year of pulling my hair out to get them to finally buy in and do it. But I can't attribute any success to myself. The kids play hard. They buy in. Last year, we talked about scouting reports and who we had to stop. And it was like at the end of the game, we went back to the drawing board because nothing that we had planned worked out. And it's just that we just didn't execute it. It always came back the same thing. We did not do our job. We didn't follow the scouting report. And this year, you know, I'm a little late on getting the scout report out for tomorrow night, and my kids are already crucifying me saying, Coach, where's our
Right.
report? And they do a very good job buying in. My kids are great. They work hard. They stay in a gym. They show initiative. It's the first place that I've been where they are breaking in the gym on weekends. They are, finding ways that they can stay after and shoot. They're watching 4 and 5 hours of film on their own. That's outside of the time that we schedule that to watch. So the kids are really hungry for something different. I've challenged them last year that if they wanted to do something different if they wanted something different, they got to do something different. And they've just kind of taken it to heart. So,
Well, you guys only have one loss on the season. You're already 4-0 in conference, so you guys are moving right along there. But let's talk about that Berryville tournament. You guys won against Arkadelphia. You beat the home-standing Berryville team, which I know was a tough game, and then you beat Fountain Lake in the finals. Let's talk about that tournament and your good performances that you had in the tournament.
well, playing over a long break is never good. We had a game scheduled with Des Arc the week before that got canceled, and it was nobody's fault. It was a new principal that came in that didn't want any games played on semester exam week. So we went 12 days with no game, and it's hard. My kids, during practice, you try to keep it as competitive as possible. And so there's a balance between mixing your squads up to keep it competitive or going first squad versus second squad. But 12 days with no competition, no game is just tough. So we came out and got punched in the jaw really quick by Arkadelphia, who is freakishly athletic. And I don't know what their record is anymore, but they're better than whatever that record is. I think they were 6-2 at one time. They might be 500 now. But dude, they're stupid athletic. So that game was tough. Played a big 1-3-1 and played man-to-man and locked us down. And I'll be honest, the coaching call on my fault. We were really a little out of shape. We had 30 turnovers that game, and they made us, and they scored a lot off of it. They made us just look silly a couple times. And then second round got matched up with Berryville, who is good and shot the mess out of it. I've got about 10 films on those jokers, and I knew the Youngblood girl was good, but Taylor Tomlinson just came off a knee injury, so I only had limited film on her. And so they came out and caught lightning in a bottle. In the words of Coach Cornelius, and he said that we gave you our best punch, and you stood there and took it. They let us. We were up at 1 at halftime, and they let us the whole second half. Jaylee Hooten hits a big shot with 45 seconds left to tie it up, and then they had a turnover with 5 seconds left, and our girl scoops it up and picks up a foul, and our starting point guard goes to the free throw line and buries 1 for 2 to win the game. So we really had no chance to win that thing until the last 45 seconds of the game. But our kids, something I can tell, but that the biggest change, I guess, in our program and our kids is that our parents just keep telling me they never think that they're going to lose. Down 10 with 2 minutes left, down 20 with 5 minutes left, they still think they're going to win. And a team can be really dangerous when they have that mentality. So
Absolutely, and you guys just kept battling in that ball game, and again against the homestanding team in their tournament. That's a really, really good win. And then let's talk a little bit about that Fountain Lake game in the championship. It's almost like you guys kind of got over the hump in that one and in the previous one, and it looks like you guys kind of played pretty well in that championship game.
we did. It was our best game of the tournament. I think we started the game with back-to-back-to-back steals, and we blew all 3 layups off those steals. However, Jaylee Hooten runs down the floor, offensive rebound putback, so we were able to go start the game off 6-0, which was a nice little cushion. And at that point, we just never looked back. I think the biggest lead, I think we started off with a 6-0 lead, and then the closest ever got was 3 points. But yeah, kids played really, really well, shot it better behind the arc. I think we only had 10 turnovers that game, which is, when you turn it over that much or that little, it really helps out. We were able to play our whole bench and kind of cruise to a 21-point victory. But the kids played really, really well, really, really hard, and they forced Fountain Lake into some really tough spots defensively. So
So let's go back to that Arkadelphia game. You said you turned it over 30 times. How did you keep your kids engaged from not getting blown out in that ball game? Because a lot of times when you're playing a team that's more athletic than you get them to turn it over. They're scoring easy off those turnovers. What was it that you guys did to stay engaged to keep that thing going in the right direction?
Well, despite 30 turnovers, they really did not score a lot off of those. Arkadelphia doesn't shoot it really, really well, but what they do really, really well is attack the basket. And so we would just go challenge them at the rim. And if they missed it, we would just block out and rebound, try to get that thing and take it back the other way as quick as we can. Or we wanted to be able to, at that point, get it down the floor as quick as we can and hopefully beat them back down the floor so we could get an easy bucket out of it. But like I said, the kids really never think they're beat. And so we did have some frustrations. I had to sub my backup point guard out. She had 4 or 5 turnovers like in a row, and she got really, really frustrated, started griping at some teammates. And she came off to the side and she goes, "Coach, how?" And I told her she was not going to act like that. And I was really nice about it, or I feel like I was anyway. And she said, "Coach, how am I supposed to get them to come help me? How am I supposed to get them to do what I want?" And I told her, I said, "Welcome to coaching, baby." I said, I don't know that answer. I said, "Let me help you." I said, "The deal here is that if you keep the ball in your hands and you jump stop, pick it up, I can burn a timeout and help you." I said, "But once it leaves your hands, at that point, I can't help you anymore." And so I said, "But I can promise you the way you're acting and you're griping at them is not the way to do it." And she was sick, and we kind of had to dope her up before the game. And so I do think that we might have overdosed her a little bit. So, because she just wasn't herself, and she knows that, and we've talked about it. But, the kids just never believe they're beat. They just, I don't know how else to explain it. But, to answer your question, 30 turnovers. Yeah, we knew that we were turning over a lot. We had 13 in the first half, and I think 17 or 16 in the second half, and whatever the math is on that. And at halftime, we just, went and talked about black and white, take my feelings out of it. This is what we had to do. And this squad is different than any squad I've ever coached. I've been able to chew and be, I would cut my teeth with Becky Brown. So I've been able to be fiery and chew people and chew kids. And, with this squad, they just respond better if I keep a level head and I just point blank, this is what's happening. And this is we need to fix it. And this is how. And I've been really blessed this year with those kids really buying into, okay, then let's go fix it.
Nice. So. That's a good thing when you can get the kids to think clearly, go toward that common goal that you guys have, which is winning, and you're doing a lot of it. 14-1 on the season. Looking at your schedule, got some pretty good wins, including that one against Star City. What was that like playing your mentor? You guys were at Star City, right?
We were at the Mount St. Mary tournament, so it was a neutral location.
Neutral location. So you were at the Mount St. Mary tournament. You got matched up against your former coach there. What was that like to get a chance to play them? A place that I know personally that you have a lot of ties to, and be able to win that ball game.
Well, Matt, as soon as that bracket came out and I saw us matched up with her, I was not happy. I can go the rest of my career never playing her again. I will be okay with that. Becky does a phenomenal job. She's probably a future Hall of Famer, I would say, hands down. But I think when we're in a tournament, I just feel like everybody wants to see that matchup, and so they just schedule it right away.
Right.
But it felt really good, and I told the girls the game was personal for me, and it's not only do I have ties to Becky, but those kids. I coached some of those kids when they were in Pee Wee, and so I told the kids it was personal and that I just wanted I could handle losing. I just wanted to play well. I wanted that to be a game when Becky left. She said, I trained him right, and that's what was important to me. But the kids played hard. It was a very close game, back and forth. We started out in zone, and the kid, Star City hit shots. They're really sound defensively. And so, we had to go man in the second half. They were ahead in the second half. We went man and had a couple of turnovers. We were able to kind of lock down on them a little bit, take some options away, and score in transition. And that kind of pushed the lead for us. But, they're going to be a tough team. I don't care how anybody says that they're down. They're good. They're good.
Well, knowing Becky as I do, she's going to tell you she's down, but then she's going to cut your throat when it's all said and done. She is the ultimate competitor and fantastic, legendary coach down there at Star City. She has won a lot of ball games down there, and I mean, incredible streaks and state championships and all kinds of stuff down there at Star City that she's done. So you guys, you come up under a incredible coach, and it's showing. You guys here at Heber Springs, you also were at Bauxite. You were at Springdale Harbor for a minute. So you've been around a little bit, but you're doing a great job there at Heber. Let's talk a little bit about your kids, and let's talk about who's doing what and who's doing good things at Heber Springs.
Well, I'll talk about the first one. She's a forward for us. We use her in the post, use her to guard a little bit. Her name is Jaylee Hooten. She is a 5'11" athlete. Looks like that she's been, chiseled by like a Greek god, kind of like. She's blonde, strong. She's a jump shooter. And when I say athletic, she does things that she shoots a jump shot like a boy. She's a 4A state high jump champion. She's signed Division I track to Murray State to be a heptathlon, decathlon girl.
Wow.
She's just a monster athlete, and she cleans up a lot of misses, but when she runs down the floor, she causes a lot of problems. She causes matchup problems. She draws two defenders. People have to play her close, which opens up our shooters around the perimeter. Which leads me to Sophie Stone, is probably our senior sniper. It's a funny thing about Sophie Stone. She's about 5'4", maybe 5'5", skinny little bitty old thing. And Sophie Stone did not play very much for me last year because I could not get her to understand what shot selection was. And she was so quick to prove herself. As soon as she could shoot it, as soon as she caught it, she'd let it go. And it was just frustrating because I would tell her, baby, I can get you that shot in 2 more passes off an inside out. And it's a higher quality shot. And she and I really, just kind of struggled last year, and I don't know what's changed, but now she hardly comes off a floor for me. This summer, she's a really hard nut to crack. I think it was just, some kids are that way. You have to build time. It takes time to build those relationships, whereas others you just hit right off the bat. And so Sophie, to me, is, she's a huge part of our program offensively. And when you ask her, what's changed, because I'm blunt enough to do that, she just says, Coach, I just quit caring. And she goes, I don't mean that in a bad way. She goes, I'm going to play, and I don't care what it takes. I'm going to play. And so, she became a lot more coachable. And in that process, she and I have developed just a fantastic relationship where I can chew on her, I can talk to her, and she's just been real with me. So we have a Hope Turney is a senior. She's the heart and soul of our basketball team. She doesn't matter if I need her to score, she'll take that role. If I tell her, like, hey, you need to be a passer this game because this is how they're going to play you, she'll do that. She will do whatever it takes just to win. Just the heart and soul of our team. Addison Hudspeth is a junior for me, plays a kind of a wing spot. I can move her in the post if I have to. She probably averages right at 15 points a game for us. Shoots it really, really well, but just a kid that has a high basketball IQ. Not overly fast, but she just chisels away. She's that type. She's just a slow burner, I would say. After the game's over, she's a quiet scorer. You're like, she scored 15 points. Like I only remember hitting 2 shots. But she affects the game in so many ways. She probably is our best reader on defense. Gets a lot of deflections a game. Fills every stat column. And our starting point guard is a spark plug. Averages about 1.5 charges a game. gives up her body. She's beat up right now from that Berryville tournament. I think she took 4 charges in 3 games. Doesn't have score a ton. She shoots it pretty well, but she's very selective where she shoots it. And, I told her I needed her to fix her turnovers, and she did. I needed you to be able to hit a free throw because you're going to be on the line, babe, because you handle the ball so much for us. And this year, she's 86% free throw shooter. She was at 90. I think she's kind of dropped a couple of points, but, that's our starting 5. And then we got 2 really big role players for us. Molly's about a 5'11" lefty post kid, plays about 14 minutes a game, who started for us and gets a concussion in the Star City game, and bless her heart, she just hadn't been the same since, but we're slowly getting her back. I think it's just been her injury, her concussion's just been lingering, and we're just trying to get her back, and it's just going to take a little bit of time. And then the last one's Madison Clemens, defensive stopper. She's a long guard, lanky. She's not going to wow you in the scoring column, but she's going to get about 4 or 5 rebounds a game, couple deflections, couple steals, and she's just going to do whatever she can defensively. And that kid probably started as a sophomore and then started halftime for me last year and hadn't started a minute for me this year. But she's just, if you talk to her, she'll be the first one to tell you, Coach, like, whatever I got to do to help the team. And there's been games she's played 20 minutes. There's been games she's played 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And she's never complained once about her playing time, never asked me for more playing time. She just said, whatever you need me to do, you just, Coach, as I'm going in, you just tell me and I'll do it.
Yeah.
So biggest thing about her is, like, last year we were very turnover heavy last year, averaged 25 plus a game. It's not that we weren't skilled. It's that we didn't understand passing angles and didn't understand transition spacing. And those are the 2 biggest things that I've tried to get them to understand is passing angles and spacing. And that opens up driving lanes. It opens up scoring opportunities in transition. And, it's not perfect. We're still, trying to figure that out every day. But that one specifically has turned her turnovers probably from 4.5 to 5 a game to right at like less than 1 a game. So I'm really, really proud of Madison Clemens for that.
It sounds like you got just a good, well-rounded team there. You guys got a big one coming up. I know that you've got some before this, but I think one that we're probably going to be at with you is going to be the Clinton ball game. Looks like the top 2 teams in your conference going to be battling it out to see who takes over first place, and it looks like your round robin is going to be halfway over when you play them, because you play them again at Clinton on February 14th, which is the final game of the season for you. I know you don't want to get too much ahead of yourself, but, man, we're looking forward to being at that Clinton ball game.
Let me tell you something. That's going to be the place to be that night. I think there's already a big rivalry anyway through football. They have the Battle of the Little Red between Clinton and Heber. And so I think that this is just going to just blow up, probably bigger than anything that I've been a part of in my coaching career. Our radio station lady, Allie Sugg, is from Clinton. Her radio station's in Heber. I think she lives in Heber, but like she's got ties to Clinton. And so it's just going to be a fun night, big game. And, Post does a phenomenal job. He's got some players down there that are tough as nails. So it's going to be a dogfight that night. I'm really excited about it. But, like you said, I've got other fish to fry before we get there. So,
yeah, we got about 11 days before that one comes about. So we'll be looking forward to being there. We'll start putting stuff out there here pretty soon about that ball game. And Coach Post has been really good to us as well. He invited us to come down to that bauxite ball game that they had. And we got a chance not only to see his team, but the boys' Clinton team. They're really, really good. I mean, a team that a lot of people don't know about. Well, Coach, man, we do appreciate you joining us here on Overtime Arkansas. It has been good to talk to you, good to catch up with you. And, man, we're going to see you on the flip side here.
Hey, listen, Brad, before I go, I couldn't, our girls wouldn't be half as good as they are without that staff. We got Corey Heffentrager that joined us this year from CBC, who's a phenomenal high school player at Greenbrier, played collegiately at SAU and CBC. That she brought a lot of shot clock knowledge to us that's really helped. Our other assistant, Andrea Riggs, is probably a behavioral specialist. She's taken so many hours of like behavioral classes where I can just, I'm to the point now where if I can't figure out a kid, I'm like, look, Riggs, go see Riggs. And like Riggs will walk her into the office, just sit down, have a little chat with her and come back and explain to me, hey, I think, this is what's going on and this is what we kind of need to do to fix it. You need to take a step back and just let her figure this out. And at first it was really frustrating to me, but she, as often as she's had to do it and she's been right, man, I've just developed a trust where, now I go to her quite often, and the silent assassin I'm going to tell you about, the boys program has been really helpful to us. Jordan Riley sits on my bench every game, and he's better than I am. I'm just going to tell you, he is as good as they come with X's and O's and strategy. He might be the best preparer as far as a game comes that I've ever been around. And he makes me better every day. That whole boys program does. Trust in DeSoto helps me out. We sit down, talk about how we would defend this. I can send them clips and they'll shoot me ideas. JoJo Riggs is my assistant's husband, and he's new to the scene as well. And he brings something too, he's a youth pastor. And so he brings kind of a counseling to us. Like, what I love about our staff is that boys and girls are all one, and we just all help each other out. And that has just been phenomenal. It's been life-changing.
That's awesome. That's good knowledge there to know. I just checking on the boys program there. Looks like they are 5-4, but boy, they've had some close ones there. They've played some really good teams. Your conference in the boys side is silly good.
It's loaded.
Yeah,
it's loaded, and our boys have lost just recently. I would say probably their most experienced player quit. And so now he got to play one game, which was the Robinson game. And then he had to go to, I take that back. Might be two games. Might have been the Robinson game was the last game that the experienced kid played. So then he got to play the Bauxite game with basically kids that have never played, having to fill some pretty vital roles, having to shift people around. And then they went to the tournament. And so we haven't got to see them at their best yet. And so I'm excited to see them grow because they're going to win some games down the stretch.
All right. Well, when you got good coaching, that's what happens throughout the season. Teams get better. They get more dangerous. And like you said, you're playing in a very tough conference. So they've got to be able to improve throughout the season. And it's kind of like a survival of the fittest in some ways when it comes to that conference. But anyway, man, appreciate you joining us here on Overtime Arkansas, and we'll be looking out, seeing what you guys are doing.
Well, I can't wait to see you. I appreciate you letting me talk.
All right, that's Coach Spencer Gay of Overtime Arkansas. We'll be back here in just a moment to wrap things up right here on Overtime Arkansas in just a moment.
Back to school, yard work, football practice. Don't forget to pay these bills. The schedule is so full, there's no time for a hiccup. Time is of the essence. At D3 Auto, we make the car buying process fast and easy. D3AutoSales.com. Follow us on Facebook.
Welcome back into Overtime Arkansas. I've got my good friend here. We've got Spencer Gay on the line of the Heber. I'll get it right. Back for the final segment of Overtime Arkansas. Thank you for joining us here on the first ever show. I got some people asking, saying, hey, is it just going to be interviews? No. Every show will probably be a little bit different. These interviews did run a little bit long today. So, anyway, we'll try to keep them shorter and get a little bit of talk. We do have a game tomorrow night, England and Bigelow. So, make sure that you join us for that one. It's going to be a fun one, England and Bigelow. Really two really good games, I believe, here on the Arkansas Sports Network, Arkansas High School Sports Network. You want to make sure that you join us for those. And who knows what we got next week. It's been a busy week for me. I got a lot of stuff going on. Hopefully next week will be a little bit slower. Well, I say that. We're actually moving out of our house right now, so that makes things a little bit crazy. Hopefully next week we'll have things a little bit more settled. If you saw my house right now, we got boxes everywhere. We got things going on everywhere. It's nuts. It's nuts for sure. So anyway. But thank you again for joining us here on Overtime Arkansas. It's been a great time so far. And again, we'll do this every week. It's just kind of one of those things where we're just trying to figure out, what's the best time. Used to, it was Tuesday, Friday for basketball. Now that's changed. It's not always Tuesday, Friday. It's a little bit different. Senior high seems to have changed. Now it's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. We're just trying to fill out the best night to get the most viewership and just to get a chance to talk a little bit about what these kids are doing and also publicize what we're doing here as well. Again, MVP for the D3 Auto Sales MVP, basketball, and for the girls and boys. We'll be doing that this year, so make sure that you are watching out for all of that. We've got Players of the Week, and, man, we're just excited. We've got high school basketball throughout the rest of the season. We may be at a district. We may be at a state. Well, we will be at a state. We may be at a regional if we can make it work out. So, guys, got a lot of stuff going on. And we just want to say thank you for joining us once again here on the Overtime Arkansas. And we'll be back next week with more of this. And I hope you enjoyed it. And just hang in there as we bring you rankings and everything that we can. High school sports here on the Arkansas Sports Network and the Arkansas High School Sports Network. If you're watching from the Arkansas Sports Network and you haven't liked the Arkansas High School Sports Network, go do that. And if you're on the other side and you haven't liked the Arkansas Sports Network and you like Razorback coverage, you'll love that. So, anyway, guys, we're going to sign off for now, saying so long. Brad Caldwell, along with the crew. There's a whole crew of us, and we do appreciate you joining us. Join us tomorrow night at Bigelow as we bring you Bigelow and England. For now, I'm going to say goodbye. Thanks for joining us here on the first ever episode of Overtime Arkansas.